Hey guys, this is Mike, and this is the 8th video in the LibGDX Box2D Untitled tutorial. So in this video we're going to be going back into Tiled, and we're going to be messing around with the object layer. This is the crystals object layer. So with object layers you get these shapes up here pretty much. You get rectangles, circles, polygons, and polylines. This is a polyline, right? Yep. And you also get tiles, so you can actually insert tiles wherever you want here, and it will count as an object. So like with everything else, you got the map properties, layer properties, tile properties. You can also have object properties. You can add an object down here, and you can actually double click it, and it'll give you back this same properties table. So what we're going to do, this is just a test. We're just going to put a bunch of objects randomly over here. It doesn't matter what shape or size they are. We're just going to use them as a test. So if you take a look, we have now, how many is this? 10, 15 different circles that will act as the placement for our crystals in the crystals layer. So they all have a position X and Y, and we can grab all of them. So first off, let's go back into entities and create the crystal class. This is going to be very simple since most of it is already done in the B2D sprite class. So we only need the constructor over here to read in the sprite sheet. Super body. Oops. And import that. Let's go ahead and create the grab the texture game.res.getTexture, and no, not bunny. What am I doing? Crystal. And yeah. So first off, let's go back into game and go ahead and load that texture up. It's over here, the crystal sprite sheet. So this is in res images crystal. So over here, res/images/crystal.png, and the key I'm going to give it is just crystal. So that's what I'm calling it, and I can grab it using that same key over here. So go ahead and import texture. We're going to use texture region for the animation. Call it sprites, and again, texture region has this convenience method called split that splits up a texture into several into a 2D array of texture regions. So we're going to give it the texture sprite sheet text, and we're going to split it up into 16 by 16 pixels and grab the first row from it. So import that. Okay. And we're going to just set the animation to those sprites with a 1/12 animation speed delay. So that's pretty much it for that crystal class, because most of it was done in B2D sprite already. So let's go back into play. Let's create our array of crystal. Instead of an array list, I'm using array now because LibGDX claims it's a bit faster than Java's array list, so whatever. That's fine with me. So let's go ahead and create that. Make sure you import libgdx array and the crystal class. And over here in the constructor, we have everything sorted out. We have create player, create tiles, and over here we're going to do create crystals, and we're going to have a separate method for that as well. So go all the way back up to down to the bottom, and we're going to create the method over here, private void create crystals. Alright, so first we want to just initialize the array of crystals like that. Next we want to grab the crystals layer over here. And this time we're not using a tiled map tile layer, we're just using a regular map layer. Tilemap.get layers.get, and here we're going to give it the name of the layer, and it's called crystals. I think that's what I called it. Yeah. What's going on here? Tile map cannot be resolved to a type. Oh, I put new in here for some reason. That's weird. So go ahead and import map layer. And over here, the map layer, the crystals layer only has these objects in it. These 15 different circle objects. And what we're going to do is we're going to just go through all of them and make Box2D bodies out of them. So we're going to use a shortcut for loop for mapObject mo inside the layer.getObjects. So that pretty much just means we're going to go through every map object in this layer, which are just these circles. So the circles themselves don't have any significance. All we're really getting from them is their position, X and Y. So we know where to place the crystals. So first off, let's go back outside the for loop and create the body def and fixture def. Fixture def, fdef, new fixture def. Oh, spelled it wrong. There we go. Okay, so body def. bdef.type. These are all going to be static because they don't move at all. And then we're going to grab the position X and Y from these objects. So the way we do that is float x, float. We're going to do mapObject.getProperties.get, and then it's in a property called x. And we're going to divide that by ppm, because remember, all the Box2D bodies have to be scaled. So divided by the pixels per meter scale, get properties.get y divided by ppm, and over here we're just going to do bdef.position.set, and we're going to set it to that x and y. Pretty simple. Let's go ahead and create the circle shape. You can use any shape you want, actually. It doesn't really matter, but circle shape, might as well. I don't think we have used that before. Well, we have used that as an example before, but we haven't actually used it in the game yet. So let's use circle shape. Is equal to new circle shape, and C shape dot. We're going to set the radius. The crystal sprite is about 8, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's about 8 pixels radius. So 16 pixels across. Oh, yeah, it is 16 pixels across. So we're going to do 8. Of course, scale down to the Box2D units divided by ppm. We're also going to make the fixture def shape to that circle shape. And what else? fdef.isSensor. This is going to be a sensor. All the crystals are going to be sensors. Remember what a sensor is? It's basically a regular fixture, except you can travel through it. So that's what we want for stuff like collectibles. Crystals, coins, all that good stuff. They should be sensors, I think. What else? The category bits. B2D vars dot. We don't have the crystal bit yet, so let's go back into B2D vars and create that. Public static final short bit crystal, and give it its own category 32. So just put that into the B2D vars class, and go back over here, and we're going to add that as a bit crystal. fdef.filter.maskBits, and this is only allowed to come into contact with the player. So the mask bits is bit player. Okay, so let's go ahead and create the body. World.createBody, right? Given the body def, and what we want to do is create a new crystal using that body, and add it to the crystals list. Crystals.add C, pretty much. And one last thing, body.setUserData. Again, using the circular reference thing, I'm going to give the body the crystal B2D sprite that contains it. So that's pretty much it there. Wait, I didn't make a fixture. My bad. Body.create fixture using the fixture def. That was silly. Let's see how this looks. There we go. So we have a bunch of crystals. Hopefully they're like in the correct spots. It looks like it. 3 here, 1 down there, over here. Yeah, that looks pretty okay. Oops, what am I doing? Save. Okay. Yeah, that looks fine. So now let's go ahead and just try rendering this stuff. Update. First off, let's go ahead and update all the crystals. For an I is 0, I is less than crystals.size, I plus. And I spelled crystals wrong. There we go. We're going to do crystals.getI.update dt. And of course, we're going to draw them, so we're just going to copy and paste over here. Draw crystals. I cannot type crystals. Holy crap. That has to be one of the hardest words to type. I don't even. So over here, render SB. So let's see what that looks like. And there they are, all spinning and whatnot. So at this point in the stage in the game development, we don't really need to draw the Box2D stuff anymore. So I still maybe want to do the Box2D body drawing. So I'm going to keep a boolean up here called debug. I'm going to set it to false for now. And I'm going to go back to render, and I'm going to do draw Box2D world if debug, only if debug is true. Draw Box2D. Then I'm going to draw the Box2D world. So I can just set this debug to true or false if I ever want to draw Box2D bodies. Like here, they're not being drawn anymore. It's just the game. So there are the crystals. That's cool. So yeah, this is how you grab objects from the object layer, from an object layer. You grab the layer over here using the regular method tilemap.getLayers.get and then the name of the layer. And then you go through all the objects in that layer using this for loop here, shortcut. If you want to use a shortcut, you can use the regular one. It should look like for int I is 0, I is less than layer dot get objects. Oops. Dot. I don't even know what this is. It's a map objects. Is there a size thing here? Or there's an iterator? But whatever, this shortcut for loop seems to be the easiest way to just go through all the objects for it. So yeah, those are the crystals. Let's actually try to collect some of these crystals now. First off, let's slow the player down because he's moving way too fast and I can't really see what's going on there. So I'm going to set the linear velocity in create player to 0.1, so he's slowed down quite a bit. There he is, moving a lot slower now. Let's also make the jumping force a little bit greater. So over here in handle input player jump, I'm going to bump this up to 250 newtons. That looks alright. And I'm also going to move the player backwards a little bit. So back in create player, beatDef.setPosition, this is the body def. I'm going to move it down to 100. Alright, so he's down here. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and try to collect some of these crystals. Again, all the collision handling stuff goes into the contact listener. So we have our own contact listener over here, my contact listener. And the way that we are going to check this, of course, is through the user data, because that's the ID of the fixture. So did I even give user data to the crystals? I don't think I did. Create crystals method, fixture, no. So over here, I'm just going to do body.createFixture.setUserData, and I'm going to call them crystal. Pretty simple. So all the crystals will have the user data called crystal. Alright, so now I can use that in the contact listener over here. So first off, let's go ahead and check. Again, I don't know which fixture is which, so I have to check both. If fa.getUserData, well, let's just copy this, copy and paste. If fa.getUserData does not equal null, and fa.getUserData.equals crystal, I hope you can see that. It's basically the same exact thing as over here, except I'm using crystal for the get user data. Then what I'm going to do is pretty much remove crystal. But it's sort of a tricky process to remove bodies within the contact listener, because the contact listener, these methods, begin contact and end contact, and these two, pre-solve and post-solve, they only, pre-solve and post-solve, I'm not exactly sure, but end contact and begin contact only get called during, over here, this world.step. So you're only going to have collisions while the Box2D world is updating, which makes it tricky to remove bodies, because you cannot remove bodies from the world while the world is updating. So that means you can't just go over here and do like crystals.remove and then some crystal, because that's going to cause like a seg fault or something, because you are removing the body while the world is updating. So what you have to do is you have to sort of queue these bodies that you want to remove into a list and then remove them after the world is done updating. So one of the easiest ways to do this is to basically, like I said, keep a list of all the bodies that you want to remove. I'm just going to put that into the contact listener over here, private array body, and then bodies to remove. Go ahead and import those. So I'm going to keep a list of the bodies to remove, and I'm going to remove the crystals over here on a begin contact. When the player comes into contact with a crystal. So if fixture A is a crystal or fixture B is a crystal, don't forget, use both of them, since I don't know which is which. If FB is crystal over here, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the crystal body to the bodies list. So this is just bodies to remove dot add. I'm going to add the fixture body, and you can grab the body from the fixture using fa.getBody like that. And if it's FB, then I'm going to do the same thing with fb.getBody. So just add the fixture body, if it's a crystal, to the bodies to remove list. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a getter, public array body get bodies to remove, return bodies to remove, and I'm going to use that to grab all the bodies that are in the list that I have to take off from the world. So let's go back into play. We have here the update method. So over here, basically, again, like I said, the contact listener begin contact only happens inside the world.step. So while world.step is happening, if the player happens to come into contact with one of the crystals, we're going to add that crystal to a list. And after the world is done updating, then we can remove crystals from the Box2D world. So first off, let's go ahead and grab the body list. Bodies is equal to cl.getBodies to remove. And we're just going to go through all of them. Bodies.size, I++. Let's grab the body from the list, bodies.getI. And we're going to remove crystals.remove from that. And remember, like I said over here, we have the circular reference. We can grab the B2D sprite from the body and the body from the B2D sprite. So over here we can actually just remove, cast it to crystal first using b.getUserData. Since the user data of the body is the Box2D sprite crystal itself, I can actually grab it back and remove that. And over here we're just going to set this to true. The array, this true basically means it's using an equals operator rather than a dot equals. So false is using dot equals, true is using the double equals, which is like a memory equality sign. And over here we're just going to destroy the body, B, and come on, B. I didn't even press anything, it just put body in there. Alright, and player.collect crystal, and that's pretty much it. Oh, we also have to remove we also have to clear the list, bodies.clear. That's pretty much it. So that is how to remove bodies from the world safely. You have to keep them in a list, put them in the list that you want to remove, and then remove them after you finish updating the world. So let's go ahead and see what's... Oh. I'm getting errors over here. Null pointer exception over here. Oh, bodies is null. My bad. Did I actually create this list? I didn't I? So let's create a constructor over here. My contact listener. And let's just do bodies dot to remove is equal to new array body. Let's do super, since I don't really know what's going on up there, just in case. So there's the constructor. Let's try this again. Alright. And none of the crystals are being removed. That is awesome. Oh, right, I forgot. That makes a lot of sense. None of the crystals are being removed. Why? Let's see if you guys can figure out why none of the crystals are being removed. Here I have begin contact and crystal, yet none of them are being removed. Why? Do these even work? If I do system.out.print remove crystal, do you think this is actually going to print out? And the answer is no, it's not going to be printing out. Why? Crystals are coming into contact with the player, right? No. Over here, remember, using bit filtering, when we created the player, when we gave the player fixture the mask bits, it's only supposed to come into contact with red blocks, nothing else. So over here, it's completely ignoring the crystals. I can't collect them at all. So what we're going to do over here is for the player fixture only, not the foot sensor, because we don't need to, because that's going to be like a double type collecting thing. So only for the player fixture, we're going to change the mask bits to bit red and bit crystal. Let's see how that looks like now. Uh-oh. I'm getting a... what is this? Null pointer exception again. Are you kidding me? What's null over here? I don't get it. I check if fb.userdata is null, not null. That is weird. Why is this? What's null over here? Let me just check fb. Let me move this out of the way. FB is null. That's weird. Why would a fixture be null in endContact? Maybe it's because I'm removing the body and this gets called anyway? That's weird. I guess I should put a sort of safety kind of thing over here. If FA is null or FB is null, then just don't do anything. Just put that safety net over there. That's weird. Why would FB be null? I don't know. I don't really know too much about Box2D. Why would one of the fixtures in endContact be null? I'm not sure, but apparently it does happen. So there we go. There's our player, and here he's just collecting all the crystals. Move faster, bro. Alright. Let's try to grab this last one over here. Here we go. Yeah! Got it. Sweet. Alright, so that's pretty much it. So what did we do today? Just a little recap. We did the crystals, which was pretty much nothing at all. We just read in the sprite sheet and set the animation for it. That was it. And added a new category for crystals, and added the crystals to the game. And in the contact listener, we also have the crystal thing. And I showed you how to remove bodies safely from the Box2D world by putting them in the list and then going through them later after you update the Box2D world over here. So over here, this is check input. Over here, update Box2D. So basically, you want to remove bodies from Box2D after this world.step. And world.step is the one that's going to call begin contact and end contact. So you cannot remove bodies from either one of these two methods, because that's during the update, and that's going to mess everything up. You can't remove bodies while the world is updating. So yeah, I removed the bodies after the world is done updating over here by keeping them in a list. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I also showed you how to grab objects from a layer in tiled. So this is one of the things that this is just a sort of kind of performance type consideration. Instead of having these layers over here, red, green, and blue, maybe for later, if you want to do it, you can add one tile layer and just call this graphics and put all of your tiles onto this layer, red, green, or blue. It doesn't really matter. But basically, you put all your graphic tiles on that one. You create one object layer, and this is going to have all your objects on a single layer, all your tile collision. Let's just call this collision. You don't have to do this, by the way. This is just me going through tiled stuff. And you can actually create rectangles over here, like this. And there's your rectangle object for one layer. And so yeah, instead of remember back then we were going through create layer, and we used this double for loop to create bodies for everything. So we went through, this is a 40 by 8 layer. So we basically go through 320 tiles just to read in 6 red tiles, which is a complete waste. So a better way to do this is to just use an object layer and create single objects for contiguous blocks. So here I have 5 green blocks. I can just create one rectangle object and read that in. So similar to what we do with crystals over here, I can just read in for every object in that layer, grab the position, grab the size, and set a Box2D body for that one. So yeah, that's just a sort of performance consideration, or just better design overall consideration. Just in case you want to do that, you know, it's out there, and you can go ahead and try it if you want. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for this video. Let me just see if I'm gonna add more crystals over here. Boosh. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, it's all good. It's all crazy stuff over here. Cool. Okay, so that's gonna be it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.